All right. What is going on, everybody on YouTube? Griffin here, coming back to you guys with another live stream, finally, from the Millennial Motivation Entrepreneur YouTube channel. First and foremost, before we get going, if you are new to the channel, looking to join an awesome community of like-minded people looking to make money in the stock market or online by any means, actually, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button below. And while you're at it, check out our Discord group chat. That's down in the description box. We now have over 70, right around 75 of us in there. Again, awesome to see that community growing just day by day. More of you joining, more of you joining the YouTube channel as well. So cannot stress enough, if you're just looking to make money online in the stock market, we don't do anything get rich quick. I don't try to act like I'm trading with a $25,000 account. I'm somehow doing like 100% returns every month. I tell you guys all my profits, losses, all that. If you're in Discord, you literally see my profits and losses almost on a daily basis. So again, if you want to have that contact with me, just check us out in the Discord group chat. But man, it's been like, what, 1 week, at least 1 to 2 weeks. I feel like it's been longer than a week, but at least a week or so since we've done any type of video or live stream. And I was just like, man, I got to do a live stream before the end of the week. So luckily, I got off today around 1 o'clock Central Time. It's now 2:30. And I figured I'd go ahead and just do an overall update because I really kind of changed. I didn't even realize I was necessarily changing my trading style. I knew I was to a certain degree by not really trading options hardly anymore, just because there's too much volatility. At first, I was over about a week or last month or so, I started going more towards longer term options, specifically within SPY. And had a little bit of success here and there. And then I went and did a, April 27th, something like that, close to the end of the month, pretty much a month and a half option. And there's still quite a bit of volatility. So, I mean, you definitely still have to be right whenever you're doing just simply calls or puts, especially in a kind of sideways market like we're in right now, because you have that theta, the time decay, where if the stock really doesn't move in your favor relatively quick, within a few days, week at the most, you're going to start losing money, especially if it drops or pushes up. In this case, I was trading SPY. I was betting on it going a little bit higher, past 285. We hit 285, I believe it was sometime last week, and sure enough, it dropped below 280. So I cut some losses on that, and I was just like, you know what, I'm just going back to what worked for me from day one, like way back over a year ago. I'm just going to start going back to, and what I was really doing again whenever I started trading on Robinhood to begin with, which is just simply buying stocks, buying ETFs and ETNs, holding them for usually overnight, sometimes a quick day trade, of course. But like last night, we bought some UWT, and we're now looking at maybe playing DWT going into the weekend, because look, the 1 hour chart, it looks like we're looking into possibly a little bit of selling going into Monday or Tuesday. So I'm looking at buying some DWT before the end of the day, but I might actually get on that before long, because our MACD is getting really close to crossing, which would mean we're probably going to start selling. Doesn't always, it's never like you never want to go based on one indicator, of course, but when it comes to the MACD on crude oil on the 20-day, 1 hour, 10-day, 1 hour, whichever one you want to look at, the 1 hour chart, essentially, the 1 hour chart for me has worked best when it comes to trading oil, swing trading, UWT, DWT, those two. You guys know I trade UWT the most, but oil's had a good little run the last few days. We had a down day yesterday, but we started to rebound. I actually bought, which we can go and look into my portfolio really quickly. You can see pretty good day overall for the account. We're up roughly 1%, roughly around, not even 1%, about 0.75%. Pretty much about what the overall market's doing today. Market's up about 0.6%. We're up about 0.8, so outdoing the market by a little bit. So what I'm holding right now is 30 shares of AGNC, 30 shares of SPHD. I'll talk about those here in a second, why I'm just pretty much holding them. But as you can see, we sold UDOW. I had UDOW for roughly a week or so. We sold that for just 2 shares. We made about 2.2 or 2.4% profit. Also sold the SPXL. That was only about 1 to 2% profit. And we sold UWT for actually a little over 8% profit. Again, if you're in Discord, I pretty much tell you guys, I don't think I mentioned the SPXL, but I tell you guys pretty much every move I make. As you can see here, we have a dividend payment scheduled, which I'll talk about here in a second, why I'm also starting to invest a little bit more into dividends and for the time being, and why I'm doing that. But as you can see, we'll go back down a little bit. So yeah, like I mentioned, and then we obviously deposited 1,000 literally overnight last night. But so we have this AGNC dividend. It's 18 cents per share, which again, I don't want to get ahead of myself. We'll just go back to where we're talking about UWT. So you can see here we bought some more SPHD as well. That was yesterday. So this is where we sold. So where's our buy? Okay, so we bought, and then that's the SPY call. I just went ahead and cut losses on that one. That one was a pretty big loss, actually. We bought the shares, 12 shares, just a very small position. This was literally about 7% of my total portfolio. Just 12 shares, right around $16.98. I mentioned it in Discord. I was like, if this goes below 17, I'm going to go ahead and buy some shares. Sure enough, it did. I wanted to get in at $16.95, but I missed it slightly, so I just settled with $16.98. It's 3 cents. It was only a 36-cent difference. I didn't want to miss out on what I knew was going to be a good opportunity based on 36 cents. So we got in at $16.98, and then we sold it literally the next morning, this morning at 8 a.m., pretty much right as soon as Robinhood opened up. We sold it close to the high of the day. I think it was about the high of the day, actually. If we pull up UWT, the high of the day was 18.58, so we got pretty close to the high of the day at 18.41. I think that's the high of the year to date so far, actually, for UWT. So again, that was roughly 8% profit, a little over 8%. In total, it ended up being somewhere around like $15 to $20 of profit. And then from there, we've just kind of been sitting, looking for buying opportunities. Like I said, we sold the SPXL. That was for about a 1% profit. And then we sold the UDAO shares for roughly 2.4% profit. So pretty much what I'm doing is, like I said, we're just going more towards a little bit, I would call it a lot more conservative compared to trading options. Whenever I first started trading on Robinhood again, because you guys know I was on Tastyworks because I didn't like trading on Robinhood too much, especially when it came to options. I was trading on Tastyworks, and then I decided to go ahead and come back to Robinhood because I was like, you know what, options just aren't really working out for me, specifically for my trading style. I was like, I'm going to go ahead and go into Robinhood, just swing trade stocks, day trade stocks, etc. We're having some good success, making it pretty much like we're doing today in the last couple days. 1% here, 1% there, pretty much around 0.5% to 1% return on a daily basis. Obviously, you have the days when you're swing trading where you're going to be down about 0.25%, 0.5%, but pretty much somewhere around 0.5% profit per day. And then, obviously, for those of you that have been following, you know that I started trading the SPY options, day trading them very quickly, which, I mean, you can still have good success doing that. Again, I'm not saying I'm never going to do that again. It's just for as busy as I'm getting right now, it's just super hard for me to do that on a daily basis or every other day basis, doing those SPY options. There's people in our group, actually. Josh, I don't know if he's tuning in right now, but he's doing it almost not on a daily basis, but every few days he'll tell us about a put or a call where he made like 10, 20+%. And again, it's awesome to do that if you can sit there throughout the day and make those profits. So that'll be later on down the road when I'll actually start doing that. I'll have to be doing this full time. My objective, though, is to get into the futures market. Obviously, my account's around $3,200 right now. I could technically get into the futures market trading stuff like /QM, which is another like an oil futures that you can trade. We can pull it up here, /QM. You can see that the requirement is only $2,200. So, I mean, I could start trading that, and literally every tick move is a $12.50 profit. So today on the 95-cent move, I mean, you'd be making some really good money. Let me do the calculation real quick just to put that in perspective. If you were long oil essentially from yesterday, you had your initial margin or whatever, it moved 95 cents, and you divide that by, it moves, each tick is a 0.025. So it had 38 overall ticks, and each move is worth $12.50. That would have been $475 worth of profit today that you would have made if you were long oil. Now, obviously, that's not how really you want to like trade oil. It's more of kind of quicker day trades. You want to catch a good rise, a good fall, etc. It's more of kind of scalping, so to speak. But that's what I plan on doing longer term, is just trading futures /ES/CL, maybe QM here and there. But trading futures is kind of what I'm willing to move to. But while I'm messing around trading SPY options, especially again in a sideways market, options are just really hard whenever you're just doing calls and puts. You better be right on which direction. Honestly, like a day like today, I would not be placing any options because I wouldn't want to bet on calls because we could easily get rejected right here and come back down. But at the same time, we're pretty close to a little breakout within the market. So I mean, it could easily go up at the same time and fill the gap back up to around 283, 284, maybe even 285. So I mean, it's just a lot of risk. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to go back to what has worked time and time again, which for me is just trading stuff like UWT, DWT, which obviously are inverse ETNs, some Gush here and there. Drip, not quite as much. I don't really like Drip, even whenever obviously they're inverse. I just don't like trading these two. If I were to trade Drip or Gush, I'm probably going to look more at UWT and DWT just based on their overall price action, which you can see UWT, for those of you that are new, goes hand in hand with oil essentially, which is why I'm looking at DWT because it's inverse of oil. It's down about 4% on the day. Pretty much what I'm looking for here in the next 20 minutes is to possibly take a position. Again, I'm watching this MACD very closely. We're getting super close to crossing over, and usually every time it crosses over, we're going into some selling. And same case, and the same is to be said when it comes to the buy signal as well. You can see we had this little drop here, but we crossed and then bam, we shot up from right around 59 all the way up to 59.25, and we continued on up for a while. We got close, not quite, kept running, and now we're getting close to crossing again. So I would not be surprised if we can just get a little bit closer. I will definitely take a position on DWT. I might even still take it either way, just because, again, just look at the recent trend. We've had a good little run here. We had a good run here, and then we did some selling. Good run here. What would you expect? Some selling. Same thing here. We had a pretty good little run here, and then we ran into quite a bit of selling. It took a little while, but we had some selling. So the trend just keeps repeating itself. Don't try to fight the trend. I'm not saying I'm thinking oil's going to have some huge drop or anything. I honestly think oil's probably going to settle somewhere around like 59 to 59.50. But that alone is a pretty good swing, which for DWT would be roughly a 5 to 10% return on your investment. So that's pretty much what I'm doing right now, is just trading oil ETFs and ETNs. Like I said, UWT and DWT. It's just easy for me. Oil is like you guys know, oil is like my #1 golden goose. It gels with me very well. I just know the trend. If you can find a market like that where you just know exactly how it's going to move almost to a T, obviously you're not going to be right every single time. It's all about risk management at the end of the day. But when you're just buying stock, it's a lot easier to manage that risk versus options, where you want to set a stop loss, but with options, they're so volatile. If you set a 2% stop loss, you're going to be stopped out very quickly. But yeah, another thing we're doing, I'll start hitting on the dividends now. SPHD, this is one that I've been investing in. I have 30 shares of this. I'm leaning a little bit more towards, as I continue to build the account and whatnot, also investing in pretty good quality monthly dividend paying investments. And SPHD is a very good one. Like those of you that are like getting into the market for the first time, you're wanting to invest in something other than a 401k or something that you can't even touch without being penalized for however many years. I think it's like at the age of 60 or 65 or somewhere in there, older essentially. If you want the freedom and you're like looking to invest on Robinhood or something like that, SPHD is a very good ETF. I mean, it's got low volatility. You can see it's only up 2 cents on the day. Now obviously when the total market is going down big time, it's going to go down as well, but overall it's pretty low in volatility, and it pays a monthly dividend of right around 14 to 15 cents. Its yield, I believe, is somewhere around 5% a year, which means pretty much if you do nothing but hold this, and you never ever plan on selling it, which obviously you want to take some profits at some point, but say it pretty much flatlines, at the minimum you're going to be making around 4.5 to 5%. I believe it's around 4.5. So somewhere around 4.5% a year, no matter what. So on $1,000, you're talking, I don't know how much that is. What is that? 45 bucks. I mean, it's not a lot, but I mean, everything compounds over time, and that's what it's all about. For those of you dividend investors, actually, I don't think, is that $45? 1,000 times 4.5. Yeah, it's $45. And that's, again, if it did nothing, just flatline, didn't go up, didn't go down, anything like that. And then, of course, you have the compounding on top of, like, you have your compound interest from the interest that it's gaining on top of compounding the yield. So, I mean, you can get the math working in your favor very quickly with some of these monthlies, and especially those bigger quarterly dividends like Nike, Coca-Cola, all those. But SPHD, overall, very safe investment. And then we have AGNC. This one pays a very hefty dividend. And what I like about it is, overall, again, pretty low volatility. I mean, it's really been bouncing around ever since I've been holding this thing, from between like $17.90 to about $18.10. It's right around $18 right now. This one pays like 12.3% dividend yield per year. So, and it pays monthly. So you're getting pretty much a little over 1% every single month of dividends. And so literally it's going to pay out, I believe, if we go back to Robinhood, we can see it said something. So yeah, 18-cent dividend will be paid on April 8th is when they'll pay me. So 30 shares, that ends up being $5.40 is what I'm going to get just for holding it. And if we go into that investment right now, it'll show I'm probably down a few cents or something. I think I'm in like 1806, 1807. So I mean, we're only down, what, about $2 right now. Not a big deal. Again, my dividend payment's going to be $5.40. I'm down $2.16. So even if I sold it, say it didn't move another penny, if anything, it's probably going to bounce up to around $18.10 at some point. Pretty much my plan with AGNC is I'm going to get my dividend, of course, April 8th, and then I'll probably go ahead and sell it whenever it pops up to like $18.10 or something. Just get a very small profit, like $1 off that. And then again, once we get closer to that dividend cutoff date, which I believe for this is somewhere around the 25th, 28th, somewhere in that range, I'll go ahead, hop back in, collect the dividend again, just rinse, repeat over and over. This thing's very, very low in volatility, and I might even do the same thing with SPHD. It just depends. SPHD is more of something I'm trying to kind of hold long term. It's kind of more of my, I don't know what you want to call a long-term investment, so to speak. It moves almost hand in hand with SPY. Just not as, it's just not as volatile. So you can see, again, it's up 2 cents on the day. Overall in this investment, I'm up $6-7, nothing major, up 0.5%. And honestly, if I go up 1, 2, 3%, I'll go ahead, depending on how the market looks overall, I'll go ahead and cover profits, and then again, maybe look to get in close to that ex-dividend date. So you can see overall, I do have a little hefty of a size. The portfolio diversity is about 1/3 to 4/10 of my account. And this one, like I said, it's going to end up paying like 14.5 cents per share. A little bit lower of a dividend, but still pretty safe investment overall. And again, the reason I'm doing that is just consistent money. These two are pretty much going to provide me about $10 a month in dividends, minimum $10 in dividends per month. So I mean, it's just free money at the end of the day. So what else? So that's all I'm holding right now. It looks like we have about 13 minutes until market close. We're up again, like I said, 26, 27, right around $25 to $30 most of the day, up 0.8%. Pretty much, it is a boring trading style if you ask me. Just simply buying these dividend stocks and holding them, and then buying stuff such as UWT and DWT. But guess what? I mean, boring works at the end of the day versus high risk, high reward, and high loss. So it looks like oil might actually be getting ready to go on down. So we might look to enter some DWT here, because it looks like we're starting to get that selling. I don't know if the market overall is pulling back. Let's see what we got here. SPY is still up roughly. Let's get the overall market. ES is up about 0.5%. It looks like we've had some dropping here recently over the last couple minutes. Let's see here. We'll put oil right down there. Oil right around 16, so they both have kind of slid here the last couple minutes. I'll keep an eye on, let's take a look at the minute chart. So we might see a little short-term bounce upwards of 60.20. When that happens, I'll probably hop into some DWT. So we'll get DWT pulled up. And I'm not going to buy a lot. Again, when I'm doing these trades, these like swing trades with DWT, UWT, I'm not taking a huge position size. I'm not looking to like make hundreds of dollars per trade right now. I'm just looking to grow the account as I continue to put money into the account. And then once we get the account upwards of $10,000, we will then go to trading futures, which is the overall goal. I'm still interested. I'm very interested in those. If you look at the last video, we discussed the micro mini futures, I believe is what it's called, that they're coming out with in a little over a month in May. I'm still interested to see how that's going to play out when it comes to fees, commissions, because a lot of people were saying the same thing I brought up in that video, which is how are they going to go about adjusting their fee structure, because literally you'd have to be up a whole dollar within like in tick size for you to even break even on fees and commissions. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I definitely want to trade that market, but unless if they change the fee structure, it's just not even worth trading. You might as well just trade the E-minis, /CL, /ES, all those. Takes a bit more capital, but at the end of the day, it's worth it. So we'll see what happens with oil here. I still think, like I said, I think we're going to fill the gap to around 60.19, maybe 60.20. If that can happen here in the next 5 to 10 minutes, I'll probably hop in and buy some DWT. You see the volume, because obviously the oil market closes at like 1:30 Central, 2:30 Eastern time. Here we go. It's at 17. Looks like it did touch 18 briefly. It might get rejected by that EMA here. I think this is the 12. Yeah, this is the 12 EMA. So we'll see if it gets rejected at that 12 EMA. I think it will. Let's see what we're looking at on. Oops, didn't mean to do that. So I'll do a limit. Let's see. Probably about 50 shares. And 50 shares, that's $335 of buying power, which is roughly 10% of my portfolio. That's usually probably what I'm going to use for most of these trades. Like I said, UWT was only like 12 shares, which that was roughly 7 or 8% of my portfolio. 335, that's pretty much smack dab, almost right at 10%, maybe even slightly over, but right around 10% of my portfolio. So I don't know if DWT's moved at all. It's down slightly. I might go ahead. Oil must have just dropped again because that just went up 2 cents. So that 1 penny is going to make a world of difference. I might just go ahead and hop in at 670. It's not the end of the world. I mean, it's 1 penny at the end of the day, but every penny counts whenever you're trading something that's literally trading for $6 a share. You can see a quarter move is a almost 4% move. And like I said, those of you in Discord know the target profit on this is probably going to be somewhere around 5 to 10%, which would put this, I believe, somewhere around like 740 or something like that. But if this thing gets up to $7 or so, I'll definitely consider just covering profits if it looks like there's going to be some resistance. I think there will be a pretty strong resistance right around 680. That's not going to be that big of a move at that point. You're probably only talking about a percentage point. But if I'm up 1%, 2%, I'll always cover the profits and move on, because obviously long term I am still long oil. Looks like we might have just filled the gap. What's DWT at right now? Still at 670, huh? So I'll go ahead and probably get ready to place an order. Well, we still got 7 minutes, so we'll see what happens here, if it gets rejected or not. Minute chart shows we could maybe get ready to get into some buying. MACD hasn't crossed yet though, so we'll see. It's testing that 12 EMA. Got rejected once or twice, it looks like, but I would really ideally like to see this retest right around 60.23 to 60.25, but I don't think that's going to happen in the last few minutes of trading. Of course, technically I could sit here and wait till like 4 o'clock Central Time, or 5 o'clock actually, Central Time. I'm not going to wait that long. There's not going to be a lot of movement in after hours, I don't believe personally. It's Friday, everybody, you can see how the volume right at the close, it's just dropped off. So I'll be looking to place that trade right around the closing bell, but we'll see what happens. And of course, if you guys have any questions or any ticker symbols, we got 4 of you tuning in. If you guys have any questions or ticker symbols you want me to take a look at, definitely just let me know in that chat box over there. So it just got rejected by the EMA there. MACD did close in a little bit. We'll see if it actually crosses. We got 5 minutes till the close. It's moving very slow right now. What's going on with SHY? Okay. So what is that the 10-year? Yeah, 10 years back over 2.4 apparently today. That's probably also helping bring the market back up, is that if I remember right, yields have been rising over the last day or so. We went clear down to like 2.35 or something like that if I remember right, and it looks like right now we're just over 2.4. It'd be nice to see that come back up over 2.5 or 2.6. I remember when everybody was freaking out when it was at like 3.2, but we see what happens now that it's inverted. I don't even, is it still inverted? I don't know. I'll have to check that out this afternoon. But yeah, I wanted to hop on here mostly because it's been such a long time, it feels like, since I did any type of live stream or video. And like I said, if you're new to the channel, we'd love to have you here. Definitely consider hitting the subscribe button below. And more so than that, check out our Discord group chat. That's down in the description box. Like I said, I pretty much post every trade I do right in that Discord group chat. I'll let you guys know when I get in. I'm not saying, I never tell anyone to get in just because I got in, but I do let you guys know when I get in a trade, out of a trade, all that. But yeah, to hit that topic, don't ever invest in anything based on what anyone on YouTube says. Had someone on a video from like a month or 2 ago comment that they lost $100 on UGAS because I said in a video that I thought UGAS might have the potential to bounce short term, and it didn't. It kept dropping. But what did they do? They took that information when I didn't even invest in UGAS. They went invest in UGAS just because of what I said, and then they try to blame me. So don't blame me if you lose money because you're dumb enough to listen and literally invest based on what someone else says or does. That's just not a good idea when it comes to trading. Not a good idea at all. Actually, it's idiotic, but just never ever, can't stress it enough, never trade based on anyone's opinion. So I'm wondering if they're gonna pin oil right around 60.20, 10 the week. I wonder if there's a reason for that. Let's see what we got here. So 60.20. Okay, so this has been an area of resistance over the last week or so. So it makes sense now that they're kind of pinning it right around 60.20. Let's see what we got going on here. Our MACD is still trying to decide. Let's go over to DWT again. Still right around 670. UWT is at 1809. And like honestly, like I said, looking at DWT and UWT, zoom in a little bit. Like I said, I think there is going to be quite a little bit of resistance right around 680. If that's the case, by all means, I'll go ahead and just cover the profit. I'm going to buy 50 shares. So, I mean, if it goes up 10 cents and they're at 10, 11 cents and there's resistance, I'll cover my $5, $6 profit and move on. Money's money. Money made at the end of the day. What I will do, though, is have a loss, like a stop loss. Or I'll watch it. But if I can't watch it sometime next week, I'll set a stop loss probably somewhere around 655, 650, just because probably 650. See where this was, see where it built the support. I'll probably set a stop loss of 657. That would be roughly a $5 to $7 loss, stop loss on that position, just because we had a little bit of support build there early on. And if it breaks that, then we're probably going to continue this downward move. So that's what I'll probably do. I'll go ahead and probably hop in here. We have 1 minute until the market closes. But obviously we still have roughly 2 hours until Robinhood closes. But overall, it looks like the Dow, they're talking about lift right now. If you don't, and this is just my 2 cents, don't touch lift. It's not even worth touching. I mean, it's way overpriced. It reminds me a lot of, what was it Snapchat that started over $20+ and look where it's now. I think Lyft would be a good buy, maybe around $40, $50, but $70, $80, it's just not worth it. Looks like the Dow is going to end up roughly 200 points. We're getting close to that critical 26,000 level once again. So we'll see what happens. I forgot I had my volume turned up. I apologize for that. But so we're getting close to 26,000 on the Dow. I don't know where the S&P ended. Let's see where /ES is. /ES is still right around 2835, which has been a somewhat critical level. We're at 2837.50 right now. Didn't really have a lot of movement there the last couple minutes. Had a spike up to 2840 and 40 and a half. I'm wondering though, looks a little bearish in my opinion, but we'll see what happens on Monday. Overall, pretty good day for the market. Pretty good week considering the whole yield curve inversion and all that crazy talk that we had going on. So overall, not a bad week for the market. And it looks like oil is still continuing to get rejected. So I'm probably, looks like we're just now starting to get our cross on the MACD. So I'm probably going to go ahead and hop in DWT. DWT, it looks like, is now up to 671. Price actions looking good for DWT. I'll take a look one more time, but I'm probably going to get ready to go into hop in. I think overall oil is probably going to come down to at least 60 on Monday. Really, I want it to pull back to around 59.50. That would be a good, very good profit on the DWT position that I'll be taking. But if it comes down to 60, like I said, we're not going to look at a huge profit. Probably only 1 to 3%, 1 to 3, maybe 5. But I'll take 1% plus any day of the week. So I'll go ahead and place DWT here, place UWT there. Okay. So 1614. $6 here, right? Probably just go ahead and set that limit at 6. I want to set it at 670 since that's probably what it'll touch. I'm just gonna go ahead and get in at 671. It'll be alright. It's only 1 penny. It's 50 cents at the end of the day. So we're gonna get in, like I said, roughly a 10% size position on the account, and target profit, like I said, go back over to the DWT and we go to I'll just pull up the 5-day. Target profit at the minimum is 680. That's only going to be about a 9-cent profit, 9 to 10 cents. Again, that'd be about a 1.5% move. That's what I'm looking at a minimum. And then we're going to see our next level of resistance, probably right around that $7 range. If I can squeeze $7 out, that's about a 4.5% return. But overall, my target profit is always 3%, usually on a trade. So I mean, if we get to the 3%, that's roughly 690, 691. It looks like it might have just dropped to 670. Not yet. But, and then like I said, the stop loss, if we want to take a look at that, zoom back out here. Like I said, my stop loss would be I think I said 657. So 657 would be roughly a 2% loss, something like that. Yeah, right around 2% would be the loss. So pretty good risk management. I'm talking roughly 3 to 5% minimum to the upside, and then just a 2% to the downside. So like a 3 to 2, 5 to 2 ratio. So not too bad. But we're keeping it at 671, it looks like. So look at the price action. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and get filled at 671. That way we can go ahead and wrap this up. Because like I said, I mean, is 50 cents really worth it at the end of the day? Overall, we're not going to be looking at huge profits or losses on this position. Like I said, if I make 3%, say I make 3% on this position at 335.50 times 0.03, you're talking $10. Again, nothing major. If I can get what I think I can really get out of this, which is 5%, 335.50 times 0.05, we're talking $16.77 worth of profit, which is pretty good for sure. And then like I said, the max loss, which will be right around 2% times 0.02, that would be roughly a $6 loss. So we're talking a $10 to $20 move to the upside versus a $6, $7 to the downside loss. That's pretty good risk management in my opinion. So right now it's still at 671. I'll just go ahead and take that and move on. So we'll review the order. 50 shares at 671. Submit buy. Forget, always have to log in. So we got in at 671. 50 shares, like I said, not a huge position. We're probably going to look to get out of that Monday, Tuesday, hopefully. Wednesday at the latest is the goal. Hopefully by Monday, though. I think overall, oil market will probably pull back just a little bit on Monday. Take a look at oil. Like I said, just simply because we've had a good little run over the last week. I mean, we've had a good run all quarter. Oil's up, I think. Crude oil specifically is up like 30%, something crazy like that to start the year. I kind of called it out. Whenever we were around like 45 to 50. I don't remember when I started talking about oil quite a bit, right after the new year and whatnot. But I was like, I think oil's going to end up going, what'd I say, 65. I think I started out saying 60, 65. And then once we approached 55, I was like, okay, it's probably going to go up to about 65 to 75. So I still think 65 to 75 is probably the max that we're probably going to see. We're going to have a pretty big resistance right around $65. That'll be a very, very big resistance, actually. We're right around a pretty big resistance as well. 60 is always... Any 10 number is going to be a pretty big resistance, of course. Like I said, I don't think overall oil is going to pull back a whole hell of a lot, but I do think we're going to pull back somewhere around 59 to 59.50 just by going based off of our 20-day chart. like I said, 59.50 would be somewhere right around here. That'd put us right around the SMA on our 20-day chart. That'll probably rise a little bit, so 59.60 probably is what we're looking at for a pullback. But every time I think it's only going to pull back a little bit, we end up having a pretty big pullback. So 59 would definitely not shock me by any means. As long as, again, the highs continue to get higher and the lows continue to get higher, that's what it's all about. But you can see ever since we had this little bottom right around 58.20, we've just been ripping the last couple days. So for that reason, I'm just short-term short on oil, which it looks like DWT probably just dropped a penny or two. Yeah, right after I get in, it drops a penny. Oh well. But yeah, other than that, like I said, all we're holding as of now is, won't let me scroll down for some reason so you guys can see that, but SPHD 30 shares, AGNC 30 shares. These, like I said, monthly dividends. That one's going to pay me $5.40. This one's going to pay me whatever, 14.5, somewhere around there. Cents times 30 equals, I think that's somewhere around like $4 or something like that. So we're looking at roughly $10 a month in dividends right there. And then we just bought 50 shares of DWT for roughly $335. So other than that, like I said, pretty good day overall, pretty good last couple days. And hopefully you guys have enjoyed the stream. If you did, like I said, definitely make sure to smash the like button. I greatly appreciate that. And if you're new to the channel, like I said, definitely consider hitting the subscribe button below. We'd love to have you here and have you join our awesome community. And check out that Discord group chat down in the description box. We'd love to have you there. We'd love to chat with you and add more people to that network. But hopefully you guys have a good weekend. Hopefully you guys did stay green this week. Like I said, sorry for taking so long to finally get back with a live stream. It's just I'm starting to get busy with work. We're getting into the summer season now, so I'm working usually till like after market 2, 3, 4 o'clock Central Time. But hopefully I'll still be able to sneak in a few more days a week than I did this last week. So like I said, hopefully you guys had a good week. And hopefully you have a good weekend. But until next time, guys, keep on going out there, making your profits, covering your profits, and achieving some financial freedom this year. And I will see you guys in the Discord group chat or Sunday for our Sunday stock watch. Until then, take it easy, guys.